Are you the type of person that likes to have random conversations with random dudes in the middle of nowhere? If so, I think you've stopped at the right video. And if you're wondering why I'm shirtless, well, maybe I'm in the Garden of Eden. Nudity is only perverted if you believe it to be. Keep that in mind. Now, over the course of the last 4 years, I've worked with a lot of people, probably over 1,000 people one-on-one, who have requested advice about dating and relationships. And anytime I ask somebody what qualities they look for in a partner, 99.9% of the time their number one response is somebody who is faithful. But then if I turn around and ask them to define the word faithful, they don't really have a response. And when they do finally come up with one, it's usually related to sex or, a partner who is able to control their urges to have sex with other people. And I suppose that's one definition of faith. One of many. The dictionary definition is complete trust or confidence in someone or something. And the second definition is strong belief in God or in the doctrines of a religion based on spiritual apprehension rather than proof. Those definitions also make sense. But the term faith, it typically comes from a spiritual side, a religious side. It's been around for thousands of years. And whether you're religious or not, whether you're a Christian, a Muslim, whether you believe in God or you believe in Mother Nature being the highest power, you still believe that if you are faithful to that higher power will be faithful to you, and this faithfulness will serve as a body of armor and protection. It will shield you from harm or from evil doers. That's sort of why people chase after faith. And in a relationship, it's the same way. They believe that if they are faithful, if they have confidence in their partner, and their partner is faithful and has confidence in them, that their relationship will be shielded and protected from any outside interference that could destroy their relationship. That makes sense. But again, the term faith comes from a religious standpoint. That's where it originated from. People just moved it over to relationships. So in order to understand how to be faithful and how to find somebody that's faithful, you also have to understand where the term comes from, what it actually means biblically, or, whatever your religion is. They all believe that sins are sins, and they shouldn't be done. Now, one of these sins, or we could go with the 7 deadly sins. I grew up with a Christian background, and I know Muslims don't believe in the same 7 deadly sins, but they still believe that these 7 deadly sins are sins that you should avoid. So does every religion, even the atheists. So, number 1 would be lust, right? Now, we've all had relationships end through lust. Lusting, me personally, I've been in relationships where I've lusted for other women. And the relationship might be totally faithful, but then when I start lusting for other women, the woman that I'm with notices it, her attitude towards me changes, her confidence in me or faith in me is deteriorating. So we're losing that protective shield in our relationship because I'm always lusting for other women. And vice versa. You know, if you're a woman who is hypersexualized because of whatever reason, you know, you might be in a committed relationship, a healthy relationship, but you screw it up because you get too excited every time you look at a man, you know, that you find attractive. So lust is the first deadly sin, but it not only does it apply to religion, it also applies to relationship, to faithfulness in a relationship. You know, it's amazing how these terms are so correlated. Number 2 is gluttony. Gluttony is an excessive, ongoing eating of food or drink. You know, have you ever had a partner that is constantly going out and getting drunk? You know, they overeat, they're gaining lots of weight, they're unhealthy, they have a bad attitude towards life because of it. This will cause you to lose faith in your partner, whether you're a male or a female. So, you know, it's important for each individual to not do this. Not only does your religion tell you not to do it, but your relationship is telling you not to do it. If you do it, your relationship will likely fall apart. Number 3, greed. Greed is an excessive pursuit of material goods. Now, the manosphere, most guys in the manosphere get this wrong. They automatically assume that the more aggressive your pursuit is towards material goods and the more material goods you attain, the better you will be at relationships. And we see all the time that that's absolutely false, right? Absolutely false. And it's even worse on a woman's side. If a woman is constantly chasing career goals, she's very likely to be single. You know, there's very few men out there that want to date a woman who is career-oriented. They're just not attracted to it, unfortunately. And, you know, men, obviously, society is going to view a man as a failure if he has nothing going for him career-wise, or, you know, he's unable to attain any wealth. So he has to do that to some degree to provide for his family. But at the same time, if he puts his career over his relationships and his family, that relationship will likely lose faith. You know, and we see it all the time. We see all of these celebrities getting divorced. You think, oh, why would Dr. Dre's wife divorce him? Why would Bill Gates' wife divorce him? Well, that's why. You know, the faith is gone. Or maybe it was never there to begin with, you know. Anyways, number 4 is sloth. Sloth is an excessive laziness or failure to act and utilize one's talents. So it's a fine line, isn't it? It's a fine line. Because you utilize your talents for financial gain, for a lot of times for material things. But instead, you have to learn to utilize your talents to be productive. You know, it should be all about being productive for your family, for your friends, for your relationships, for your community, for your society. Not just productive in a greedy way just for yourself. You know, sloth is one of those things. How many times have you asked a woman why she had to break up with her boyfriend or divorce her husband? It's because he was lazy. You know, he never wanted to go out and do anything with his life. So she had to divorce him. That's sloth. If you're a sloth, you know, that ruins the faith. You know, your partner will lose faith in you if you're constantly showing signs of being a sloth. Number 5, wrath. Anger and hate towards another person. You know, let's be real here. That's a huge one. That is a massive one. In relationships, if you are angry and hateful towards not only your partner, but towards other people. How many times have you been on a date and, you know, the girl you're with starts talking shit to the waitress? You know, saying angry and mean things to the waitress. You start to realize this is an unfaithful person. You know, you're losing faith in this person. And even worse, they get mad at you. They're angry and they say mean and hurtful things to you. They become verbally or even physically abusive to you. This is wrath. You know, if you're constantly showing your wrath, partners will lose faith in you. And if you have a partner that is constantly showing their wrath, you'll lose faith in your partner. What else? Number 6 is envy. Envy is the intense desire to have an item that someone else possesses. You know. How big of a turnoff is it when your partner isn't happy with themselves and they want to be like somebody else? You know what I mean? They're never happy with what they have. They're never happy with what your relationship has. The grass is always greener on the other side. You know, they become resentful. They become bitter. They become ugly. And you'll start to lose faith in your partner. Number 7, pride. Ooh, this is the biggest one. Pride is an excessive view of oneself without regard for others. This is the narcissist. You know, this is one that men nowadays, man, it's like because of the invention of social media, you know, lucky for me, I'm out here, I'm in tune with nature. But most people out there, you know, they're glued to their phones 24/7. They're stuck in the city. They're around electronics all day. Their brain's getting warped by electronics. And women are getting their dopamine fixes by uploading selfies. You know, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, or God forbid, OnlyFans. You know, they're on all of these platforms. And they have to upload 100 selfies a day. Every time they walk past a mirror, they have to look at themselves. They're narcissists. They're terrible to be around. Nobody likes to be around these types of people. But they're all over the place. You know, social media has turned probably 90% of the world into narcissists. That might be a little hyperbolic. I would say at least 70% of the world into narcissists. You know, the dating pool of faithful people is getting smaller and smaller. You know, if they're committing any one of these 7 acts, you know, in a religious term they're called sins. We'll just call them acts. But if they're committing any of these, if they possess any of these traits, your faith for them will deteriorate. You know, so if you're not vetting a partner on all 7 of those qualities, if they don't, you know, if they're not able to resist the urge to commit any of those 7 acts, all of those 7 acts, that relationship likely won't work out. You know, and anybody watching this video, you got to look at yourself. You know, are you faithful? Are you worth somebody being faithful to you? Are you worth being a person that somebody should be faithful to? You know, it's a question you should really think about. But anyways, this week's video request was to make a video about how to meet a faithful woman. And of course, this video could go for a woman that's trying to meet a faithful man as well. But those are the 7 acts that prove that a person is unfaithful. If they commit any of those 7 acts, it's not just having sex with another person. You know, that's one act, but there are many. But anyways, guys, hope this video was somewhat informative. If it was, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Not that it really means anything, because the algorithm doesn't even worry about any of that stuff. But that's neither here nor there at this point. Hope you got something out of this video. Until next time, see ya.